Fire in the amphitheatre, the night the world's greatest fighters came to Verona. In a 2,000-year-old Roman arena, older than the Colosseum itself, the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Paralympics burst into life with a ceremony that was part theater, part love story, and entirely unforgettable. The Report Zone, March 6, 2026, Verona, Italy. There are opening ceremonies, and then there are moments that stop the world. Friday night in Verona was the latter. As the sun dipped behind the ancient stone walls of the Arena di Verona, one of the most remarkable sporting events on the planet officially began. The Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Paralympics had arrived, and Italy made sure the world would never forget how it started. The venue alone was enough to take your breath away. Built in the 1st century AD, the Arena di Verona is older than Rome's Colosseum and has witnessed everything from gladiatorial combat to grand opera. But on this night, it was given over to something arguably more extraordinary. 611 para-athletes from 55 nations gathered to compete in what organizers are boldly calling the most beautiful Paralympic Winter Games in history. Today, Italy once again stands at the heart of Paralympic history. A stage like no other. This was the first time a UNESCO World Heritage Site had ever hosted a Paralympic opening ceremony, and organizers leaned into that history with every creative decision. The theme of the evening was Life in Motion, produced by the Filmmaster Group under the artistic direction of Alfredo Acatino. What unfolded was a seamless blend of Italian cultural heritage and a powerful message about the limitless potential of the human spirit. Musical renditions of Italian classics filled the ancient arena, including a soaring performance of Volare that had the crowd on their feet. Rising Italian star Mimì, raised in Lombardy, performed the national anthem with a voice that seemed to fill every stone and shadow of the amphitheater. The flags of all 55 competing nations were carried in by volunteers as athletes joined either in person or via video transmission from their respective clusters across Milan, Cortina, and Val di Fiemme. Love, unity, and a Da Vinci machine. No ceremony in Verona could pass without a nod to the city's most famous story. At the center of the main stage, a mysterious structure rose slowly into the air, a towering construction reminiscent of one of Leonardo da Vinci's legendary machines, operated by aerial performers embodying the characters of Romeo and Juliet. What began as two figures from opposing factions became a story of connection, as one by one, individuals brought together by the performance became couples. It was a breathtaking piece of theater, and one that carried a meaning far deeper than romance, that barriers between people can be broken, and that love and unity always win. We will be remembered for the extraordinary achievements of the athletes, but we will be judged by the legacy we leave behind. The torch, the cauldrons, and the stars above. The Paralympic flame arrived in Verona at the end of a relay that had stretched 2,000 kilometers across Italy, beginning from Stoke Mandeville Hospital in the United Kingdom, the spiritual birthplace of the Paralympic movement. The torch, named Essential and crafted from recycled aluminum and bronze, was carried into the arena by wheelchair fencer Beatrice Vio, one of Italy's most celebrated Paralympic champions, whose entrance drew a thunderous roar from the crowd. Then came a moment of pure history. For the first time in the history of the Paralympic Winter Games, two cauldrons were lit simultaneously in two different cities. Francesca Porcelato lit the cauldron in Cortina d'Ampezzo at the Piazza di Bona, while Gian Maria Dal Maestro simultaneously lit the flame at the Arco della Pace in Milan. Both will burn throughout the entire Games until the closing ceremony on March 15th. As if earthbound inspiration was not enough, then the ceremony reached beyond the planet entirely. Sophie Adano, a European Space Agency astronaut currently aboard the International Space Station, addressed spectators from orbit, inviting the world to consider how far human potential can truly reach. She was joined by Michaela Benthaus, an aerospace engineer and the first astronaut in a wheelchair, who spoke about the extraordinary power of dreams. It was one of the most quietly stunning moments of the entire evening. Record breakers before the snow has even fallen. These games are already making history before a single competitor has reached the finish line. With 611 para-athletes from 55 delegations, Milano Cortina 2026 has surpassed the participation record set at Pyeongchang 2018, making it the biggest Paralympic Winter Games in history. 5 nations, including El Salvador, Haiti, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Portugal, are making their Winter Paralympic debuts. For El Salvador, it is an especially remarkable achievement. They're the only country not competing in the Winter Olympics that's competing in the Paralympics. The host nation, Italy, was welcomed into the arena to a roaring reception, led by para-alpine skiers Chiara Mazel and René De Silvestro. The Italian flag bearers for the Paralympic flag itself were 7 athletes: Silvia Parente, Christian Lanthaler, Joseph Erlacher, Enzo Masiello, Dorotea Agetle, Angelo Zanotti, and Daila Damano. IPC President Andrew Parsons captured the magnitude of the moment when he addressed the crowd, noting that these games honor 50 years of Paralympic winter history, from 1976 to 2026. More than a ceremony. What made Friday night in Verona so remarkable was not just the spectacle of it all, impressive as that undeniably was. It was the weight of what it represented. The Arena di Verona, a place that has stood for 2 millennia, had its accessibility overhauled specifically for this occasion, ensuring that the very venue celebrating Paralympic values was itself a place where everyone could belong. That detail, so small as it might seem, said everything. The Games now run until March 15th, with 79 medal events across 6 sports: para-alpine skiing, para-biathlon, para-cross-country skiing, para-ice hockey, para-snowboard, and wheelchair curling, which this year welcomes a new mixed doubles, making its Paralympic debut. The competition takes place across 5 venues, spread between Milan, Cortina d'Ampezzo, and Val di Fiemme. But all of that lies ahead. For now, the image that will stay with everyone who watched on Friday night is a simpler one: an ancient Roman arena lit with fire, filled with the flags of 55 nations and alive with the kind of human spirit that no injury, no obstacle, and no limitation has ever been able to extinguish. As IPC President Andrew Parsons put it, these games offer something truly different. After Friday night, nobody is arguing with that. Follow the Report Zone for full coverage of the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Paralympics throughout the Games. Subscribe, like, comment below. Which sport are you most excited to watch at Milano Cortina 2026?